Right, this is Linton the Swarm Vassal, Bellator light heavyweight contender, and you're watching the MMA Crypt Fighting Talk Show.
Hey Cryptos, Fight fans, it's Gregory Stone and you're watching the MMA Crypt Fighting Talk Show. So the title of today's show is Mark Godbeer out of Bellator 158? Officially as things stand right now, judging by his statement released this past Saturday, June 25th, Mark did state that he will not be fighting for Attack Promotions. This is not down to an injury, this is not down to the promotion not wanting him on there, this is down to Mark not wanting to fight on the card. You're probably asking yourself, well, why is Mark upset? What's wrong with Mark? Why will he not be fighting at Bellator 158? What could have possibly happened to make him upset? Basically, the best thing to do really is just get this statement up on the screen that Mark released and just go from there, really. So here's the statement by Mark. I was going to interview Mark this past Saturday just gone, the morning he released the statement, but obviously once he released the statement, things changed up a little bit. As you can see there, Attack Promotions is co-promoting with Bellator. He's clearly not happy with the way he's been treated by them. They've had some history in regards to Rising. In regards to this, they've removed him from the main card, the opening fight card, the opening fight of the main card, and they've bumped him down to the undercard. I believe it's the last fight of the undercard he was scheduled to be on. They removed him to there, and of course he's not happy about that. It looks mainly like because of sponsorship deals that he's got in place, that he will be losing out on money, and that's one of his main gripes by the looks of things. So, judging by the history and what's happened with him removing him from the main card, he's decided to pull himself from the fight card. Now you ask yourself, can Mark actually do this? Well, no one can make him actually turn up to the event. They can't physically come around his house and drag him to the event, kicking and screaming there, can they? But will there be some sort of ramifications? Now, obviously, contracts are in place here. Can you just start pulling yourself from cards? I don't believe you can, unless there's an injury or a serious instance where the promoter and you come up with something and agree, so you're not fighting. Once you sign a contract, you're legally binded to compete on that card. So you probably think that Mark's going to get in some kind of trouble from this, and potentially could do, I'd assume, if he doesn't compete at the card, because obviously he can't go around breaking contracts. Now, speaking of breaking contracts, it looks like here that the reason why Mark's upset is because his manager, he states there that he's a lot of it's down to his manager's inexperience there, and it looks to me like his manager's agreed and signed to Mark being able to move around the card and shuffle around the card at any point. So you'd probably think he'd be more upset with his manager than actually being upset at the Attack Promotion, but like I said, there's a history there. So that's the story as things stand right now. Mark's unofficially put himself off the card due to disagreements, differences with Attack Promotions. Attack Promotions have not released a statement yet. There's not been no confirmation of Mark being actually removed from the main card. If you go to the Bellator website, Mark Godbeer versus James Mulheron is still a part of the main card, but we know it's not to be. We know that Ollie Thompson will be taking Matt Mitrione now on the main card. That's the replacement fight. Obviously, there's been a lot of change to this card. The passing of Kimbo Slice, MVP's got an opponent, Paul Daly, in that rematch against Josh Koscheck. That was a huge fight. To lose that too, and you headline Kimbo passing, and all the promotion you put forth for that, all the papers, etc. There was bound to be a lot of shuffling around with the card and stuff, and moving things around, moving bits and pieces, fights around the card to see what really fitted for the fans. And obviously, it looks like Mark Godbeer versus James Mulheron. It's been a sacrifice that's had to be made. Personally, would I put the Matt Mitrione fight and Ollie Thompson in place of Mark Godbeer versus James Mulheron? No, I wouldn't. I believe that James Mulheron versus Mark Godbeer is the number one fight in the UK. If that was for BAMMA, that'd be a headline fight for the belt. James Mulheron's probably ranked number 3, 4 in the UK easily. There isn't many heavyweights knocking around. Ollie Thompson suffered a few bad losses, and the fight was Gazim Selmani, where he got brutally knocked out in BAMMA, that still sticks out to me for Ollie Thompson. So it was going to put Matt Mitrione on the card, which is great. I get it. I love it. I love that Matt Mitrione's on the card, big name, coming over to London. But I wouldn't have stuck in Ollie Thompson against him. I get that, obviously, America versus US. US could be watching this on Spike live. So they're going to be tuning in wanting Matt Mitrione. It's someone to cheer on, American guy. Those fans in the United Kingdom, we get to see Matt Mitrione fight, which is pretty cool. Guy we're not normally going to get to see over here. We can see James Malone fight. We can see Mark Godbeer fight over here all the time on TV and stuff. So it sort of makes sense from that sort of standpoint, but I can't get that Kazim Salmani knockout in my head for right now. It takes some time for certain knockouts to leave the fans' minds, you know. Like Bisping, he really had to shed that Danielson knockout for a good while. He certainly shed it now, that's for sure. But some knockouts it takes time to shed these things. Can anyone get caught? Yeah, but Kazim Salmani, he was a brutalizer. Now, I'm not talking like, he's Ollie Thompson's, not good enough. He is good enough. He's got a reputation. But when you see a guy just fearless, hungry, just a wrecking machine like that come forward, you sort of cannot but be a fan of the guy, you know. He's like, oh shit, Kazim Salmani, I can't wait to see this guy fight. He's fought for Bellator on the undercard after that. He lost. I would have liked to see Kazim Salmani take the place, to be honest with you. That's my personal preference. So, to remove James Malone versus Mark Godbeer for that fight, I wouldn't have personally done it. But Attack Promotions, I think they've done a really good job on this card. Put Evangelista Cyborg Santos in against MVP. That's absolutely awesome. Obviously replaced Douglas Lima with Josh Koscheck. Obviously, Josh Koscheck has played with injury. I'm assuming that Paul Daly will tell you that he's lost his balls, but of course he's going to say that. I do believe that he did get in Josh Koscheck's head, and I think it would have been a bad night for Josh Koscheck, so probably better. But this is a better fight, so I think Attack Promotions. With the other replacement fights, they've also bumped Paul Daly and Lima up to the main event, which obviously created a slot. So it was actually slot free, so I'm a little bit unsure on this because there's only 4 main card fights. So there's been a slot moved. There was previously, I think, 5 with Kimbo. So I don't get why they couldn't have gone anyway. Obviously, having 2 heavyweight fights back to back might be a bit silly. No promoters don't like to do that. I still believe Alex Reed might be bumped up at some point. But Alex Reed's not even on the main card, and we know what this guy brings in terms of the tabloids, the papers, the media, the mainstream media. And this guy's still on the undercard. So, I mean, I like him. I'm on the bandwagon at the minute. The new, I'm not too sure on him. I've done a little bit of research. They seem like good guys. A lot of knowledgeable people in the terms of combat sports anyway. In terms of business, in terms of promoting. They seem like very sturdy guys, and this is their first event with Bama in co-promoting. Well, I'll say co-promoting, but they're really running the ship here. They're the captains of the ship on this one. This is really their event. And they're going to have to shuffle things around, and we can all understand Mark being upset on this and, not getting his sponsorship money and whatnot. But you can't blame the promoters for that. You cannot put your sponsorship deals on the promoters' heads. If you sign a contract to fight on the undercard, main card, it can be shuffled around, right? You've agreed to fight the main card, but I'm assuming there's something in that contract where you can be bumped down to the undercard if need be. The card was in flux, basically, after all the injuries, etc. A card should always stay sort of in flux to some degree up until about 3 or 4 weeks from the fight card that's been announced, especially with injuries, etc. You always need that option available to you, because if you had a heavyweight fight, another heavyweight fight to make up the numbers, etc., or to replace the fight, then you're going to have to start looking at other things. Well, maybe we'll get some lighter guys on the fight card or whatever. You're always going to have to change things. So you should always, as a promoter, keep your options open, and I believe that's what Attack Promotions have done. So Mark's not happy. He doesn't agree with that. I'm assuming he does to some extent agree with that. I think he sees where Attack are coming from, but also with that history of Rising, etc. There's a little bit of sour grapes there. They obviously made up and got together for Bellator, but yeah, he's clearly not happy. Whether he's overreacted here and just gone off the heat of the moment, like pissed off. When you first get pissed off and your temper's going, you're upset, you can make some rash decisions sometimes, and sometimes later on you sit there, you think about it, you say, well, do you know what? Maybe Attack Promotions. I see where they're coming from. Right, I still get paid. They still got me on Bellator. They put me on Bellator. Second chance at Bellator. At the Alta Arena. It's a bigger fight than he would have had at Bellator, at Bama. It's a bigger fight than what he would have had at Bama. So, a nice Bellator fight for him. Whether it's on the undercard against a really high legit guy in the UK. How many legit guys are there in the UK right now? James Malone was a big up prospect there. They're supposed to have fought a long while ago. Why not now? Okay, so let's talk about James Mulheron a little bit. Where does this leave James Mulheron? Well, I actually got in contact with James because obviously it's the first question. What's on your mind? Mark Godbeer pulls out. It's 3 weeks until the fight. So what the hell happens to James Mulheron? He's obviously training for Mark Godbeer. Some fighters say not training specifically for certain people, but you have to. Mark brings various dangers on the feet, and the way he tries to back you up. And obviously, this could be like either two bulls meeting in the centre of the cage because they both like to press the action on the feet, etc. And how would you approach on the feet to him too? You can't just say, I'll just go in there and do whatever I feel like I need to do. Obviously, you do need to adjust on the spot there and then in the fight, but you do need to have a good look at your opponent and a little plan for him. So where does this leave James Mulheron? And obviously, this is a big fight for him. He's got his own sponsors too, which he'll probably be losing now. And where's he stand on the card? So I got in contact with James Mulheron, and let's see what he had to say. So these are the 3 questions I sent to James Mulheron. Only 3. I wanted to keep it short and sweet, straight to the point. So question 1 was, how does being dropped to the undercard affect you? That's financially. Question 2, Mark says he will not fight you at Bellator 158 as long as Attack Promotions are involved. He will, however, fight you at BAMMA. Obviously, he's the BAMMA World Champion. Your response to that, and would you fight him at BAMMA? Basically for the belt or not for the belt, assuming for the belt. That's a pretty important question because, a belt on the line there, pretty big fight at BAMMA. He's offering it to you. Question 3, if Mark does officially pull out of the fight with you, would you like to stay on the Bellator 158 card and accept a replacement fight? James did respond to all 3 questions, and the reason I read out all 3 questions instead of the question and the answer was because James responded to all 3 questions in one go. So here's his response now. Being dropped to the undercard was a blow, but I was still over the moon to be fighting on Bellator at the Alta Arena. I want to stay on the card. I will fight anyone Bellator has for me. That's 3 times I've been meaning to fight him now, which is Mark Godbeer. Yeah, if another promotion will have us, yeah. The worst thing about the whole thing is I have my friends and family coming to see me, and I paid hundreds of pounds already. I feel so terrible for them. So obviously, the first thing is James does want to stay on the card. He's willing to fight anybody that Bellator has for him. So that's pretty big for Attack Promotions there. They're still going to fight a top-ranked fighter in the UK, willing to fight for him, willing to take on anyone that they have to basically put across from him. He seems like he's getting a bit fed up of wanting to fight Mark Godbeer now. Obviously, he's BAMMA champion, #1 heavyweight in the UK probably. And I assume most high-ranked heavyweights will be jumping at the hands that feed them to basically to fight this guy. And it seems like James is getting a little bit tired of this fight not happening. The final thing is he mentioned about his family there. He mentioned that he's concerned about his family. That's a big thing for both guys, Mark Godbeer and James Mulheron here. There's a lot of support from friends and family, and a lot of these people are paid. If you add them all up, there's thousands of pounds being put into this with them going. So with that, I think Attack Promotions will keep James on. If they don't, I'd assume that they might reimburse some of the money for tickets, etc. Or maybe compensate in some shape, form or fashion. Hopefully so. In terms of Mark as well, yeah. Not good stuff, that's for sure. So my opinion on it all, Cryptors, I believe that Mark, his manager, need to sit down in the room with Attack Promotions. I believe they need to work something out. Let Mark explain his side of things and how it affects him. Well, we sort of know how it affects him. It's his sponsors. Obviously, it's going to affect his money. But I don't believe you can hold the promotion to that. They're binded by a contract to just paying the fight purse. All the promoter has to do is stick to the end of the bargain in terms with the fight purse. If they pay him his show money, if there's any win bonus on there, any bonuses they've agreed, then that's all they have to legally stick by, and they're okay to doing what they said they would do, agreed to do. And this promotion thing, it's just a side thing for them. It's a little bit extra, a nice little extra to the purse for them, to help out with training camps, etc., and just get by while they're training. And I know it's upsetting to lose that and be bumped from the, you can imagine Mark Godbeer. He's been through it in the years. His previous manager, etc., coaches and all that, injuries. The guy probably feels like everyone's against him. Everything's against him at the minute. You know, he always has a bit of bad luck. There's always something good comes. There's always bad luck, and he still managed to pull his good win streaks go. This is why I like him. This is why I want him to stay on the card, and hopefully, he can just get together and sort this out. You know, I hope he sees that. You know, they've really stuck to what they agreed to. Obviously, they put him on the main card and they're moving to the other card, but they're a promotion. They've got to look out for them, number one. Mark's looking out for himself. They're trying to look out for themselves. They're trying to put on the best card. They feel like Mark versus James is not the fight to be on the main card. I believe it is, personally. I think it is. I think that's a fight for the main card, but they've got to please the American fans. Do these American fans really know Mark Godbeer versus James Mulheron? So when they put it on Spike in the US, they're going to know Mulheron. They're going to tune into Mulheron. So that's their perspective. Mark's perspective, I just lost some money. But you still got to fight. You still got a big fight in the card. Don't let you being pissed off right now ruin that. That's what I'll say. I really wanted to get Mark out of this. You know, I wanted to speak to him and just try and ask him these sort of questions. But I rang him Saturday. We were supposed to have brought down the fight. Talked about it, but obviously when I rang him Saturday, things changed. We agreed to speak Wednesday, but I didn't get to call him until Saturday, and that's when the statement came out. And by then, what I wanted to talk to him about had changed. His stance had changed in regards to fighting. He didn't want to fight no more, and he certainly didn't want to talk about it. He released his statement. He didn't want to talk about it. He felt hounded. He felt pressured into a corner. He just seemed a little bit tired of all the drama, to be honest with you. So, you know, he said he just wants to fight. So just get in and fight. Sort it out between you. That's what I think. He just needs to get in there, fight, and attack. Attack gets to keep a good fight on their fight card. They get to please the locals who are turning up at the O2 Arena by having a great heavyweight fight there. The main card looks pretty sturdy and solid. They've really had to adjust and put on a great night of fights for their first show. And in terms of fans going attacking attack promotions, going over to the Facebook page, giving them grief and stuff, you know, I don't think they really deserve that, to be fair. They're just looking at number one. And I admire attack promotions because they have got a history in the sport. They have got a lot of knowledge in the sport. And they put guys like Jack Mason on, youngsters like Dean Garnett, etc. They're really giving some guys a shot. And Jack Mason's really never been given a shot. And this guy really deserves a shot. If somebody does, he does. You know, they really reached out to a lot of good fighters in the UK. And if you look at Bellator in the US, their undercards are poor. It's like, you look at the fighters on there, they're like 1 and 2 or something, like 1-1, 1 win, 1 loss. The undercard on this card is pretty sturdy and solid. So I'm all for attack promotions. I think they're doing great things. And if they can just fix this with Mark Godbeer, they both give a little, you know, maybe they can just, they don't have to do this, but here's a solution. If I was with attack promotions, they've obviously got the money. Mark's probably losing about 2,500 in terms of sponsors. Roughly around there, between 1,500 and 2,500. Why don't they just say, look, we'll cover half your sponsors? How about that? If I put you to the undercard, we'll cover half your sponsors. How's that sound? And I think that'll be a great solution. I really do. I think that'll fix things. And Mark's deleted his statement anyway. And then just fight and everyone forget about it. Once the fight's over and you've had a great night of fights, everyone will forget about it. And we've had a great night of fights and you've had a fight, you've all been paid. You fought one of the best in the world. And if Mark wins, then he's the BAMI champion. He's just beat the number 3-4 guy in the UK as well. And there you go. Why sit there? Why not fight? Why not get paid? Why turn down Bellator? But you don't have to fight for Bellator in the future. I believe that Mark can be UFC bound. I do. I think Mark will be UFC bound. He's done enough already to be UFC bound. But I think coming over James, it just adds to that. You know, that's if he gets to win against James, obviously. And James too. James is a nice guy. He deserves the fight. He really does. And will he get a name like Mark Godbeer as a replacement? I don't know. Who knows? The top promoters did a really good job at putting in some really good replacements, so you never actually know. But my final thought on this, I think they need to put the drama to bed, get the fight going, because there's only 3 weeks to the fight. Just keep the Mark Godbeer on there, whatever way they can, versus James Mulheron. And people just get off attacks back, because if you're going to judge attack promotions on the first event, judge it after the event. Don't judge it before. Okay, Cryptos, that's a wrap for today's show. 25 fans who are watching this for the first time, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I do general MMA news shows like this, just talking to fighters via text, etc., whatever it may be. I'll be covering some news that may not have broken, which you may have spotted. Also, I do interviews today. I'll be getting interviews. I broke them into 2 different playlists. There'll be a few more things added to different playlists because I plan on doing a couple of different series. I'm not going to release what they are yet, but I've got some series coming soon. Depending on on how well they do, judging by your thumbs up, etc. and views, I'll either do more or I'll do less. Or just cut them all together. So there'll be like 3 or 4 on some, 3 or 4 episodes on some series. There'll be about 10 to 15 on some other series for the year. And then obviously next year I'll review how well they did. And the ones that I did shit, I'll cut them off. The ones that I did well, I'll keep them. Also check out MMAcrypt.com, guys. We've got a bunch of great guys over there. Very passionate about MMA. It's a little bit like Sherdog, the Crypt is. Forum, news site, plenty of local news coming on, plenty of worldwide news going on. We've got different sections, UFC, general, local, fantasy competitions. Also, you can check your knowledge, test your knowledge there, and check how good you are against guys from all around the world from the Crypt. It's basically a prediction contest we've got on there. Pick a winner, the finish, and the round. You get points for that. So we've got a season going on there, so go head on over to MMAcrypt.com and check that out. But from today's show, Crypters, as always, guys, thank you for watching.